Hello people of the internet, my name is Johnny and welcome back to spending way too much money on FNaF merchandise. We're back with once again another FNaF review video because I just got my hands on the brand new Youtooz Plushies. So we got those to take a look at in today's video. I did also order, of course, the Youtooz figures. Those, however, don't ship out until next month in April, so subscribe if you want to see a review on those when they come in. Very quickly, my relationship with Youtooz has been phenomenal. I do think, wholeheartedly, they are the best company making FNaF merchandise right now. Over my last few FNaF news videos, I've noticed a lot of comments are like, where's all the Funko news? You know, like, I feel like we're just getting non-stop Youtooz news, and that has kind of carried the FNaF merchandise scene recently. But luckily, at least in my opinion, I think the products that they are releasing, for the most part, are pretty dang good. I think their figures are usually fantastic. Those first FNaF 1 figures, I'm not a massive fan of. As time has gone on, I'm just not a fan of the way they look, the way they molded the characters. They don't really look like animatronic. Luckily, that is something that Youtooz is working on with Kyle, who is the director of brand at Youtooz, saying we're trying to get more and more accurate as they go on with FNaF products. But I think all their other waves of figures look fantastic. The Security Breach Glamrocks look pretty dang good. The Golden Freddy and Afton wave, I think, is a little strange of a wave, just in terms of the figures included and the way they look. Security Breach Wave 2 was fantastic, but once again, some strange picks for character choices. We got re-releases of the FNaF 1 characters Flocked and Haunted waves. I think those look pretty good for re-releases. That then, I'd say, brings us to modern FNaF Youtooz, where they're just really knocking out of the park. The Ruin figures, which like I said, come in next month. I cannot wait to get those guys in my hands. The Help Wanted wave as well, I'd say looks fantastic, and especially the Withered wave. So long story short, I really like Youtooz figures, but we're not talking about the figures in today's video, we're talking about the plushies. And if I'm being honest, I think in general, no offense to Youtooz, they're not the best at making plushies. I think personally, I'm not usually a big fan of their plushies. I do own some FNaF plushies, as you can see the standing FNaF 1 and Security Breach plushies. Admittedly, I do not like how those look. I would rather have the sitting versions of those plushies, which they release later on, because I think those look a lot more accurate to the characters, to the art they released for the product, and in general, I just think they look cuter and better. But I guess finally getting this intro over with, as much as I'm kind of hit or miss on Youtooz plushies, when they revealed these Ruin plushies, I thought they looked fantastic. And now finally having them in my hands, I'm so delighted to say that they look just as good in person as they did in the photos. So now I think we should probably move on to the actual review, and let's start off with my boy, Helpy. Now, of course, this is Helpy with an I, so he's based on his appearance in Ruin, not what he looks like traditionally, like in FNaF 6. And honestly, he looks pretty dang perfect. He's got his jumpsuit on, it's even got a little H there for his name, got his boots, his gloves, they even have his earpieces at the top of his head. And I do always love, and I'm sure I'm not alone with this because I've seen a lot of feedback from especially FNaF fans on Twitter. I love when Youtooz hides the Youtooz eyes and doesn't just have it like Baby, for example, where they just make up the entirety of the eyes. I always think that looks super bad in comparison to something like this. I understand that's their brand, which is why I'm never too upset about it, but I mean, come on, Youtooz. This is the way to go, I'm telling you. So all around, I'd say this is a perfect plushie for Helpy. The only weird thing is if you look at him from the side, his face looks a bit elongated. It's nothing too major, you know, it's not really a complaint. I just think he looks pretty goofy from a side profile. But this is Helpy. Again, I think he looks perfect. Moving on now, we've got Glamrock Bonnie, which was an absolutely delightful surprise that they made a plushie of him. Because admittedly, we don't really get a good look at Ruined Bonnie in his, you know, intact form. Whenever we see him in Ruin, you know, the actual animatronic of him in Ruin, or even Help Wanted 2, he's always destroyed. So I think the best comparison to make when judging how accurate this plushie looks is to actually look at his cartoon form. And if we do that, yeah, this is another fantastic plushie. He's got his jumpsuit on with his purple stripes. He's even got his yellow star. You can even see a bit of his tummy underneath. His accent color is a bit more blue in his cartoon form than it looks like on the plushie. On the plushie, it looks a bit more purple. So I think that's really my only complaint, but even then, I'm not too bugged out about it. He's got his headband on. He's even got a little earring at the top of his ear. His little tuft of hair at the top as well. His whiskers, and once again, those Youtooz eyes, they're just hidden inside of his eyes. He's even got a little tail at the back. Look at that. So really, again, not many complaints. This is easily one of Youtooz best plushies. I do think this is by far their best plushie wave. Super accurate besides just a few tiny nitpicks if I really want to be super annoying, but it's really hard to be upset about, like I said, oh, this technically should be a dark blue and not purple. It's hard to be annoying like that when just the plushie overall looks so good, man. Like, really, I cannot be mad at this. And also, just a mad shout out to Youtooz for doing Glamrock Bonnie in the first place. Like I said, there's not much official designs to go off of besides that cartoon version, but I think luckily they realized even with his lack of official media presence, Glamrock Bonnie's a fan favorite character. So, I mean, this plushie is a must have for any Glamrock Bonnie fan. Just like Helpy, he's perfect. Moving on now to Ruined Roxanne. If I'm being honest, and Roxanne fans, you're not gonna like me for this one, this is the only plushie in the wave I'm not too keen on. Because for some reason, instead of translating Roxy's, official Ruined design into a plushie, they did her Ruined AR form, which I can only assume was so that they could just reuse Roxanne's face from their previous Roxanne plushies. Maybe they gave it a shot, they tried to mold and sculpt out an actual accurate Ruin face for Roxanne, and maybe it just didn't look good, I don't know. But even still, I do not like the way this looks. Not even because they translated it into plushie form poorly, I just don't like the green. I just don't like how much green there is. And again, I understand in that AR form, her entire face, her entire head is made up of that green AR technology. But I don't know, man. This just isn't really what I wanted when I heard they were making a Ruined Roxanne plushie. I'd imagine it'd be pretty hard to make any Ruined plushie because, I mean, they're usually pretty skinny. They have a lot of parts missing. So translating that to a plush body, as you can see, is pretty difficult. I think Youtooz did their best. Look, she's even got little green claws down here. That's cute. And it looks like they slightly green tinted her hair as well as her tail, because again, I do think those are made up of AR bits on that form of Ruined Roxy. They got the ears. They're made out of a different material, it seems like. I'm not a plushie expert. I'm sure other FNaF merchandise review channels would give you a much better accurate feeling for what this material is, but it is different. I guess to signify that it's supposed to be like an endoskeleton ear, which that's awesome if so. They've got the green bit. Yeah, I mean, overall, it's not a terrible plushie. Like, if you're a fan of that version of Ruined Roxanne, you're gonna like this plushie. I just personally, I don't think it's a bad plushie. It's just not a fan favorite. It's not one that I would usually get. I would have preferred to see at least Youtooz's interpretation of trying to make Ruined Roxanne's face on a plushie, because I don't like how much green there is. It looks really gross on a plushie like this. I'm sorry. However, let's end on a good note. This is their Ruined Eclipse plushie, and as you can hear, he's got jingle bells on him. Got a little jingle bell on his foot, one on his arm, as well as the back of his hat. As well, I'd assume one that was supposed to go right here on this arm, but it seems like it fell off during shipping. That I'm not going to be too upset about. It's probably an easy fix, and also at the end of the day, it doesn't completely ruin the plushie because he's already got so many bells on him. Youtooz is no stranger to doing plushies based on the daycare attendant. They've done this guy right over here, which came in the Security Breach Collector's Edition bundle. I think that retailed for about $150, so I mean, that's a pretty expensive rare Youtooz plushie. Since then, they've done a whole bunch of other daycare attendant plushies like the Chibis, Shoulder Riders as well. All of those I did like less than that plushie, but this new plushie for Eclipse, I mean, it's easily the best one they've done for the daycare attendant. They've even chopped off one of their legs. You can see all the endo bits on the moon side, rips and tears in the body as well. Like, it's just such a good plush. On the back, here's the back. I don't think I have really any critiques for this plushie. Once again, just another amazing addition to an already amazing wave. So here is a close look at all of the plushies we reviewed in today's video. That is the entire Ruin plushie wave from Youtooz. I'd be curious to see if they do more Ruin plushies, because there's still a lot more characters from that game they could do. Personally, I think, like everyone else, I'm dying to see a Mimic plushie. Like I said about Roxy, I'm sure it'd be pretty difficult to make plushies based on the Ruined Glamrock animatronics, Freddy, Monty, Chica, but something like the Mexus entity and the Mimic, I feel like those could make for some pretty funny looking plushies. But that is going to do it for this review video. I'd love to know what are your thoughts on these Ruin plushies from Youtooz. Did you pick any up? This video is not sponsored in any way, but they are currently available on Youtooz's website if you do want to go pick them up. And like I said, those Ruin figures, they ship out next month, and of course, I'll do a review video here on the channel when I get them. So subscribe so you don't miss out on that or any future FNaF merchandise review videos. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Goodbye.